Hello and welcome to Pastor's Library. My name is Stephen Redman and this is the channel where we talk about everything to do with theology books, be they books that you might just have on your bookshelf, books that you might be gazing at in a Christian bookstore, or books that you might have on a reading list for your master's or your bachelor's degree in theology. And today we're going to look at a different class of book, and one in particular as an example to help us on our journey together. Today we're going to talk about a type of book called a Festschrift. Now I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a German word, and it simply means a collection of essays normally collected together in honour of somebody. I've just bought this, which is called The Spirit in Society, and it's subtitled Essays in Honour of William K. Kay. Now, this is a Festschrift. It doesn't actually say that on the packaging, but that's what it is. And Festschrifts are very useful because they bring together a collection of essays that are relevant to the work of a theologian, typically when he's retiring or certainly after a number of years of committed service to the academic realm. They will be presented with one of these, which will normally be published, and there are lots of them about. There are some of them I'm price watching at the moment. There's one in particular that I'm looking at that's £80, and I'm just waiting for an opportunity to come to buy that at a more affordable rate. But this one represents William Kay, who is somebody that has had a direct impression on me from being quite young. William Kay's ministry has affected me, and also I would say William Kay has had a huge impact on the UK scene, in particular in Pentecostal theology, but has had a knock-on effect throughout the realms, so to speak. And this is a really good book. It's also affordable. I think I paid less than £30 for this, which is a hardback, and it's very well edited. This is edited by Andrew Davis and Anne Dyer. Andrew Davis was the man who was at the Bible college that I attended for my master's, who introduced us to the course on the first day. He's now a professor in, I think, Birmingham University. And Anne Dyer was the more than helpful PhD librarian that I had at the college I was at. And she has not only had a great impact on modern theology, but still is supervising PhD students. And I would also consider her a friend. So these two put together this Festschrift for William Kay. Now, what is it about? Well, basically, there are in this particular edition a number of essays, 12 in all of which are written by somebody with a connection to William Kay, or someone with a direct connection to an area of theology that he has studied. Now, William Kay has written everything from a pocket guide to Pentecostalism to a university-style guide. He's written classic biographies. He's written insightful overviews of the new church movement in the UK. He has written a great deal in multiple spheres, overlapping with sociology, and he has impacted a whole generation of probably two generations of Pentecostal scholars in the UK. And so this book has chapter headings that are connected with that. So the first one is written by David Petts, who was the Bible College principal when William Kay was there himself. And David Petts, again, has set a great standard in this country, but he speaks very highly of William Kay. And then we've got an essay on Pentecostal demographics globally. We've got one on the Orthodox Church and the Charismatic movement, one on a particular unity conference, something about the Paraclete as a comfort for Pentecostals, pneumatology in the Old Testament, which is an interesting view, and then something about the 1,000-year reign in Revelation, written by John Christopher Thomas, again, who's an outstanding Pentecostal theologian. Something on ideology and biblical scholarship, something on the liberating spirit as read in Isaiah, personality and charismatic orientation, psychological temperament, which has had a lot to do with surveys that are represented in this. And then lastly, ordinary Trinitarian theology. And all of these headings are in-depth reviewed essays that the sort of which you would read in a journal. Now, I have on a previous occasion recommended you to subscribe to a journal. You know, you only have to subscribe for a year and then you can change if you want to try a different journal. But journals are an absolute godsend for keeping up to date with what the Spirit is saying to the churches in the academic world and what you can read and understand from the latest and best researchers. And that's very, very good. But the great thing about a volume like this is it pulls together a load of those diverse authors into one place. And it's like a tasting buffet. If you've ever been invited to an opening of a restaurant and they've offered a tasting buffet, you know, you get a little bit of everything on the menu. And that's really what's on offer here. It's great, it's excellent. Every chapter relates in some way to the work of William Kay, who, like I say, I have great respect for. He's himself a professor of theology these days. But this is an absolutely brilliant volume. It has the advantage of being affordable. Oh, a theology book that's affordable. That's a wonderful idea. Why don't we do it more often? But it's also a very, very insightful overview of this man's life work. So, what can I say about Festschrifts? Number one, they're a great way of dipping into authors who are otherwise published generally in journals, and it's a good way of seeing what God is saying through those journals at the moment. It's also a good way of seeing how somebody individually has impacted the world of theology, which is certainly what you would get in this volume. It's also a very insightful way of research for an essay. If, for example, you were doing an essay on the spirit in society in some way, then it would be absolutely stupid to not have a copy of this, because there'd be loads of essays you could quote in your essay through this. And that obviously makes a great deal of sense. So this is a very excellent volume. I commend it to you. I read it over 2 nights and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I like most of these types of books. I made notes about the bibliographies given by the different authors. And I went out and I bought 3 books, having read this one book. Now, that's not a huge amount, but it's been 3 books that I have also enjoyed reading. And it just allows you to, again, open your eyes to the bibliography being used by other people at this moment in time. And it's good to expand our horizons and dip into other ideas. So, if you see any book advertised as a Festschrift or as essays in honour of, why not consider it? It's a good way of getting into another realm of theology books, a realm which can take you in diverse directions, and also a realm which can offer you a lot of intensive essays on a particular subject. So that's Essays in Honour of William Kay, The Spirit in Society. That's also Something Said About Festschrift in general, and I commend them to you. If you've enjoyed this, please give us a thumbs up on YouTube, please click subscribe, and please click on the bell, and that way you'll be among the first to know when we issue another episode of Pastor's Library. Thank you very much for listening. Bye!